Are you tired of the constant noise, pollution, and stress of city life? Imagine a place where you can breathe fresh air and walk barefoot on lush green grass and experience a profound sense of peace and belonging. Welcome to Bob in the Countryside. My name is Sorin, also known as Bob, and I want to share with you how embracing country living has changed our lives. We left Bucuresti, the capital of Romania, in November 2021 in search for a better life for us and for our newborn son, who we found out along the way that he has multiple allergies, ranging from food allergies to the quality of air. With zero country experience at the time, we hit the ground running to do everything possible to improve the quality of our son's life and our own mental health. Mental health that was greatly affected by buildings being all around us, constant noise, hearing ambulances and sirens all the time, not to mention the COVID era, which I think messed most of us up. It's been 2 years, and I think the results speak for themselves. By sharing our journey, I hope to inspire you to take the necessary steps into moving into the unknown if you have ever thought about moving to the countryside. Why move to the countryside? In the countryside, like I said, you don't hear the constant sirens of ambulances, you don't hear the cars the honking all the time, you don't hear your neighbors, which are like right in front of you, right next to you all the time, doing God knows what, banging walls, renovating, and some will just have some screws loose and they just make noise. Not to mention the fact that you can't see the horizon because there's just buildings absolutely everywhere blocking your view. You now have cleaner air to breathe, you have grass you can walk barefoot on, and you have limitless life around you that does just that. It lives. It has purpose and is in perfect balance with everything around it. Now you're part of it too. You are a part of life now, so you will start living. You gradually learn that everything isn't go, 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 rush, rush, rush. I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. I need to get here, I need to get there. This has to be done or it's the end of the world. That all fades away. You give your brain a chance to normalize from the constant overstimulation of city life and constant noises bombarding you all the time, which causes us honestly to run on autopilot. We put our blinders on and we do what we need to do, and days come, days go, we just kind of lose track, and then you end up being old. And what happened? You just did what you had to do, put everything in the back of your mind, and then just coasted through life. Ever since moving to the countryside, I've become healthier because I eat healthier. I breathe cleaner air. I do more exercise without wanting to do exercise. And I am able to observe my thoughts and be more present in the moment, which is amazing for your mental health. Affording the move. Making the move is the hardest part. So I'm going to try to offer you some practical tips for saving money and budgeting for the move. Start saving up. It's that easy. Take as much of your salary that you can and put it aside in a dedicated account for the move. Every little bit put aside helps you reach your goal. This is greatly improved if you have a partner that is also employed. This way you can use one income for paying bills and food and what you might have, and the other you can put most of it, if not maybe all of it, aside into the dedicated account for moving. Once you think you've saved enough, save some more in order to cover any unforeseen situation. Create a detailed budget list of your expected and perhaps unexpected expenses. When things go wrong, you don't want to spiral out of control. You want to be prepared for any situation, or most situations, to make everything much easier on yourself. Consider cutting down on non-essential expenses. Consider downsizing, perhaps Perhaps you don't need that big apartment in that fancy part of town. Those pairs of shoes, those gadgets, the fine dining, or the junk food. Cutting down on these things does actually help quite a bit. If you own property, consider selling it or renting it out for extra income. One of the best ways to find an affordable place in the countryside is to go there. Go to the area that you would like to move to and start talking to the local people. Somebody always knows somebody who is willing to sell. You will be directed to somebody that wants to sell or has an extra piece of land. Or perhaps they have a house that they are looking to sell. Or perhaps, the thing is, there are a lot of people living in the countryside that want to move to the city. I know, weird, right? We saved for around 10 years to apply for a home loan that would have decent rates due to the fact that we put down a large down payment. We were initially going to buy an apartment in the city because that's what you do once you get married and all that. But then our son came along and everything changed 360 degrees. Once we discovered his condition, we knew that city life is not for us anymore, and we need to do everything possible to help him along his journey through life. The hardships of country living. There are hardships. It's not all perfect. There's fine print. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Some of the challenges of rural living is not every place that you go to will have electricity, gas, running water, sewage. Depending on how far out you decide to live, commuting time to the nearest city or to the nearest store will increase because, well, you decide to live further away. You learn to optimize your time, and you learn how valuable time really is. The best choice would be to move to an area that has one or two of these: gas, water, sewage. Actually, I wouldn't even go for water and sewage. For our daily water needs, we have a well with a water pump that supplies our whole house. And for sewage, we have a septic tank, which has to be cleaned out every couple of years. Story time. The house we bought had no central heating whatsoever. And the temperatures here in winter get to around about minus 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's pretty cold. It's not pretty cold, it's really cold. So heating was a huge priority for us. I hired a plumber to install the heating and the radiators and the piping throughout the house. And he kind of took advantage of my kindness, and 1 month later there was hardly anything done in the house. We wanted to move as quickly as possible, so I got rid of him and took it upon myself to do everything myself, alone, at the peak of winter, in a house that wasn't heated. My wife was in the city with our son, and me here at the house all by myself with the little heater and blankets and a hoodie and anything possible to keep warm. I started and I installed everything in the house: radiators, copper piping, absolutely everything myself. And I did it. Something I thought I would never be able to do, but I did. Everyone doubted me. I did my research. I spent countless nights on YouTube reading articles and other experiences from other people, and I chose from multiple sources what I considered was the perfect variant for what I had to accomplish. And I got it done. Our windows were single pane windows, and those are not very good for keeping anything in or out, except for maybe animals and bugs. But as heat wise and cold, no. I had to change those out, the whole system, put in double pane glass, the framing as well, do that all myself. Change doors, do flooring, put up new drywall walls to separate certain areas of the house. You can do anything as long as you want to do it. We have the internet. You just type in how do you do this and you will find it. And not only would you find it, but you will find many different variants and many different opinions of how you should do it. You just have to select, take all the information, process it, and find what works for you. All of these installations were not done in that time period. They were spread out throughout the years. So yeah, I'm not Superman. I mean, that's crazy. To make life easier in the countryside, you can harness the power of the sun. I put up a solar boiler on the house, and we have, during summertime, we have constant hot water. If you want to reduce your electricity, then you can invest in solar panels or a battery bank, which is more expensive. Maybe one day we'll get there, but there's an option. You can do that. Because we don't have gas, we have a gas stove. We have a gas tank that's hooked up to our gas stove, and that works perfectly. And we cook 3 times a day, every day. And it lasts us. Now I wake up in the morning, grab my cup of coffee, walk through my garden, go to the chickens, feed the chickens, go to the quail, feed the quail. And then just sit on a bench that I made and just sit and listen to the leaves rustling in the wind and the birds. Yeah, you hear that? Exactly. It's like it was on cue. You just hear nature. I hope that you can pick up on the microphone the background noise is happening while I record this. Side note, taking your first shower with water that was heated by the sun, solar boiler that you installed yourself, words will not do it justice. You have to try it yourself. It is phenomenal. If you have your own stories about living in the countryside or the journey you have been through, please share it in the comments. I'm sure, actually not I'm sure, I want to know from other people how they went through this journey and how they are now, and do you regret it? I don't think you would regret it, but what is your story? Please put it in the comments. And the payoff of country living. Some of the payoffs of country living is the community that is here. I've met pretty much everyone in this village, and they've all told me stories of how this place was back in the day and how it's changed and how everyone knows everyone. I enjoy helping my neighbors, and my neighbors know that they can count on me because we are the youngest couple in this village that live here permanently throughout all the seasons. I've learned many skills during my time here. How to raise chickens, quails, how to garden, how to take care of an orchard, how to trim the trees, process the fruit, can, preserve, even make moonshine, make my own wine, electrical, plumbing, construction, because, well, let's be honest, all of these things cost money. You can do most things yourselves. Like I mentioned earlier, you have the internet. You can learn, you can fix the problem that you are being faced with. I love having friends over for a beer and a barbecue. I love sharing with them our homemade goods and telling them the stories that happen here in our village. I love having them over and helping them relax from the constant day-to-day stress that they have in the city. We have it here too, but it's different when you have so much peace and tranquility, and it makes processing hardships so much easier. It's not easy, it's tough, but it's a lot easier to digest. One of the biggest payoffs is we as a family have become so much stronger. Our bond is unbreakable. We have been through highs and lows. We have learnt about nature. We try live with nature. We try be as self-sustaining as possible. We try impact the globe as little as possible. Reuse, recycle, repurpose. This shed I'm in right now, I built it with completely 100% recycled materials. All of the wood, everything, all the panelings was someone was getting rid of it, and I received all of the wood free of charge because they were finished with their construction and they were going to throw it away. We are so grateful that we can raise our son in a healthy, stable environment and offer him the clean air that he needs, the healthy food that he deserves, and the attention that all children should have. We've lived through 2 seasons so far, survived every one of them. We are strong. We've learned to survive, and we are prepared. Life prepares you. Alright, in conclusion, it is so important that in this day and age we prioritize health and happiness over material things and crazy wealth in one's life. Start researching and taking the right steps in making your dream of country living come true. I wish you all the health and happiness in the world. I am incredibly blessed and lucky to be in the position that I am in. And I hope that maybe I can help others reach that goal of living a better life. If you resonate with what I've been saying, consider leaving a like, perhaps subscribing, and share this with other people who are seeking to make the same changes in their life. Go ahead and share your stories in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to know other people's stories. If you have any questions, post them there. If I can't answer them, I'm sure that somebody else can. Let's build a community of kindness and happiness. Thank you. Thank you for your time. We are many, and together we are strong. Goodbye.